Hey guys, it's Sam. Welcome back to the BulbaSquad. Today we're going to be having a kind of complicated flesh and blood video. I have a rough approximation of how many core foils exist out there of all three sets. I had to write it ahead of time because you have no idea the math it took to figure this stuff out and the amount of trial and error so I could finally get the correct answers. So I'm just going to explain what I got up here first. So, Arcane Rising and Welcome to Wraith both have the exact same print run. We're just going to go with that. That's what Rudy said. That's what the print run said. It might be slightly different, but we're just going to go exactly the same like I said before. Crucible of War. Everything changed when we hit Crucible of War. That completely changed the formula on how many code foils were out there of each individual card, because that's what I was figuring out. And so I'm going to teach you guys. Most of you probably won't want to do this. Don't worry. I'm going to do this for every set when I get the numbers. So, fabled. Your fabled, your Heart of Fyendals, your shard, your Arc shard, and I don't remember what the other thing is. There's 3 fables in total. Your fabled is a 1 in 60 box chance. Okay? To clarify what this is, I divvied these up by 60 box slots. I am certain that my fabled will appear 1 in 60 boxes just about. It's between 40 and 80, so I just broke it down the middle, 60. So that's where I drew the line and started working off of. Legendaries. This one, if we're talking, we're going to start off with the easier one. Arcane Rising and Welcome to Wraith, you have a 1 in 4 chance at a legendary. So in a 60 box slot, we're going to get 15. Now, in both of these sets, there are no majestic cold foils, there are no rare cold foils, they are just common cold foils. Alright? So for that reason, there's 44. All the boxes that do not have a fabled or a legendary, the vast majority of them, are going to be cold foils. So, I'm going to now show you the math on how to figure out these. So first, the print run, I need my handy dandy calculator here, is 16,000. Now we're going to divide that by 60 to figure out approximately how many lots of these we've got. So in this case we have 267 lots of these. It's technically 266.67, but we're going to just go round it up, right? 267. What this means is that in terms of fables, for both of these, there are only 267 Hearts of Fyendal in existence. That's what that means. Maybe a little more, a little less. Again, remember, I can't be certain. I just broke it down the middle. Legendaries. We get 15. 15 per 60 box slot. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 267, multiply it by 15. We got 4,005 legendaries. Now, there are 5 legendaries in Welcome to Wraith. If any of you are wondering what I'm looking at, I have a cheat sheet back here. This is a lot of information. We got 5 of them. So what that means is for the 5, we're going to divide that 4,005 by 5 to give us a rough 801 of every single legendary in these sets, because they both have 5. 801 total legendaries of each copies of every legendary. Now for the commons, again, exact same thing. They both have the exact same number of commons. So, what this is going to come down to, again, sorry, getting a little tripped up, 44 times 267 is going to be 11,748 commons. Seems about right. Checks out. Makes sense that there would be way more commons. Now here's the kicker that got my attention. There are a total of 12 commons, which means we are looking at roughly 979 copies of every given common. The commons are almost as rare as the legendaries. What? We have a 178 card difference. That's nothing. That's literally nothing. No wonder these cold foils have been going up in price. When you have it broken down like this, there's only 267 shards. That's rarer than the alpha Black Lotus, I'm pretty sure. I know it's definitely rarer than the Lotus as a whole. The legendaries, that's competing with a ton of rarity in just all the card games. Even the commons are pretty rare, and that's ridiculous. This is crucial information to understand why these cards are as expensive as they are. Because everyone freaks out whenever they see the cold foils being hundreds of dollars. But then we stop and go, wait a minute. There's only 979 of the, what was it called? The Iron Wrought Boots. That's nothing. I think it's like Dragon Scale Boots. I don't remember exactly. Just all those. There's so few of them. That's why they're that expensive. When we know the numbers just outright, it paints a much clearer picture. And what I'm using this information for is Arcane Rising and Welcome to Wraith have the same print run, which means theoretic, and basically everything is exactly the same. Same number of fableds, legendaries, and commons. Theoretically, there is no card in either of these sets that should be different in prices if the rarity is exactly the same. Do you get what I'm saying? So if we have theoretically, all the Arcane Rising commons are like $200 cheaper than the Welcome to Wraith ones, that doesn't make sense if the rarity is identical. That's why this information is so important. Okay. We're going to go into the complicated one now. Crucible of War. Legend Story Studios changed everything when it came to this one. So, first and foremost, Majestic equipment. So I'm just going to put Maj. And then EQ. Majestic equipment got short printed, okay? This is short printed. We don't know by how much. They say roughly it'll appear half as often as other things. I can go and try to investigate it, but it's all this means is whenever we're looking at the Majestic cold foils from Crucible of War, just know all of the equipment that you can only have one of, that's going to be rarer than everything else that you can use multiple copies of. Alright, just know that. That's a big note. Then, what was it? Gargantuan Tone, I think. I didn't see the card in the set, but Legend Story Studios released a note on it. This one was also short printed, alright? Keep that in mind. That one's going to be rare. I may have butchered the name, don't worry. You'll be able to find it when you look through the set. So, here we go. 38,000 booster boxes. Okay? So again, trust handy dandy calculator here. 38,000 booster boxes. I got that wrong. Let's fix that real quick. Okay, there we go. That means we are going to have roughly 633 lots. So again, that translates to roughly 633 of the shards. Right away, we can see there's a substantial amount more than the other two sets. Makes sense, it's double the size. This is where things get a little tricky. When it comes to the legendaries, because there's only one cold foil legendary, technically two legendaries in the whole set, they short printed those legendaries. And this is where I can't make complete heads or tails of it. We have Shaira, the shapeshifter, and then we have the Spring Tunic of Fyendel, which is not a cold foil. What I don't know is, will that Spring Tunic of Fyendel count towards the Shaira's pull rates, or will it not when it comes to the cold foils? So there's two ways I could break this down for you guys. Right away, just to make this a little bit easier, 6 of them. We'll do 633 times 6. There's going to be roughly 3,800 of them. Now, two ways you can break this down. You can either say all of these are Shayera, or you can say half of these are Shayera and the other half is going to be the non-cold foil, in which case there are only 1900 of Shayera, the shapeshifter. I don't know which one you want to go with, but I can't be certain. These are the two numbers I have to work with at this moment. Now, this is the first set that had both Majestics and Rares, and I cannot be certain how many of these cold foils exist. The only thing I can do is take a rough approximation of how often the Majestic appears versus the Rare in their sample sizes. So what I did was I went ahead and I estimated a 65-35 split. That is roughly how many times, 65 being the Rares, 35 being the Majestics. That was what I went with. I think this will at least act as a good starting point if they ever want to release to us the proper numbers. So, Majestics. We're looking at a total of 633 times 19. Forget that my 19 looks awful. We have 12,027 Majestics. Makes sense, right? We got 38,000 boxes. Seems to line up just about. Now 633 times 34. I'm aware I skipped, don't worry. For the rares, 21,522. Makes sense. Now, that looks like a whole lot of stuff. Like there's so many Majestics, they're never going to have value. Just wait. Let's take those Majestics, 12,027, and divide them by, oh man, how many was it again? Ah, crap. I completely forgot how many we've got. So, give me a second. There we go, that's what it was. I forgot, I wrote it in the corner. Completely forgot, I'm an idiot. You can laugh at me if you want. So, 12,027 divided by 9. That means we have roughly 1,306 of each one. That's really not that bad, is it? Only an additional 600? That's still not that much. What, we get 10,000 people in the hobby? That's not very much to go around. Commons, or the rares. The reason I keep calling them commons is because the rares are literally just common cards, and then when they became cold foils, they became rares. That's what it is. 21,522 divided by the 14 that exist. That means we have a total of 1,537, just about, copies of every common. That's a pretty big difference in the number, 12,000 to 21,000. But what? It comes down to an extra 199 extra cards. A negligible amount. So I hope this taught you guys how to actually kind of start figuring out the print run sizes of the cold foils. Again, Crucible of War messed it up. This took me a while to figure out how to approximate. This one was much easier, but the way they're talking, we don't know if they're going to stick to this new formula or if they're going to go back to the old one. But maybe this will help some of you who are naysayers on why is this product so expensive? Why are these singles so expensive? Or collectors who are upset at least understand why it's so expensive. It's because there's not that much out there. Tell me, legitimately tell me, one Pokemon set card that there's less than 1,000 of. That there's less than 1,537. Rainbow Rare Pikachu? Yeah, well, guess what? There's plenty of them that have been pulled. Plenty of them are getting graded. You want to talk about pretty much any Charizard? Yeah, I know base set first edition Charizard, but even then, remember that art kept getting reprinted, so it kind of lost some of the value. Well, not exactly, but you get what I mean, okay? There's no modern set that has rarity on these levels. And I just wanted to show this to you, explain to you why they're so expensive. So hopefully this helped you guys understand why all these cards are so expensive, why the booster boxes are worth so much, because this is what you can pull. All of it is rare. All of it is difficult to acquire. It's why so many people like this card game, this hobby. Because imagine saying, I'm one of the 1,537 people who holds this card, as opposed to being like, oh, I have this shiny Charizard PSA 10. You know, there's roughly like 10,000 more out there. Not including the one, if you were just talking about what's already available, not including what's going to get reprinted or still sealed up. Like, there's a lot of stuff. So, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Tell me, do you guys think the math checks out, or do I look like an idiot and this didn't work at all? So thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.